Welcome back to the show, Reds. This is the Shankly session, and this is your FA Cup semi-final match reaction, and player ratings. Man City 2, Liverpool 3. What an outstanding game of football. I did mention last week after Sunday's game, they kind of pulled down our shorts, didn't they? And they beat us at our own game in terms of the press. But boy, did we make up for it this week. And albeit with Man City with a slightly weakened side. Some interesting picks from Pep there and stuff like that. And we'll get into it during the match reaction. But safe to say, the better team won on the day by a mile. And the score flattered City more than it flattered us. But let's go back to the beginning. City looking like they couldn't sell out their allocation of tickets with banners covering up seats. And then they had the gall to open up their mouths during the 1 minute silence for the Hillsborough, in memory of the Hillsborough victims. Michael Oliver having to cut the minute short because of the the lack of silence and respect from some sections of the City fans. We seen at half time, Michael Oliver gave a report on it saying that that's why he cut the minute short. And then slightly after that, then we had a statement coming out from Man City apologising for what had happened. That's okay. That's no problem because we went out in the first half and we got about it. The lineup from Pep was an interesting one. Can't understand why he didn't go with Ederson and goals, even though the other keeper may be their cup keeper. But when you get to a semi-final or a final, and especially when you're going for a treble or a quad or whatever it is, you have to play your strongest team. And I wasn't too I was surprised as well, Rodri on the bench, and I was very surprised at Kevin De Bruyne on the bench, the man who was badly injured apparently on Wednesday, and between himself and Kyle Walker left, in Pep's own words, City in big trouble. Well, it goes to show you the bullshit that this guy spins, that these players were injured and all this kind of thing, but we get into the game anyway, and that midweek Champions League fixtures, the one that we had where we were able to rotate and rest players, obviously was instrumental in the game as well, where they had to head off to the Wanda and got into a proper battle that night with Atleti to get through. So that was a telling tale as well. Some of those City players today looked really tired, but we were on it from minute one. The minute the ball kicked off, the press was there, absolutely obliterated them, was first to every ball. And they just couldn't handle it. They just simply couldn't handle us today when we played our press game, when we had the right selection out there, our best midfield by far. And it's been really influential these last few weeks insofar as, we've had our full squad available. We've had little or no injuries. And we did say when our full squad is available, we can hang with anyone. And we learned a lot from last week as well. I mean, when you think about last week, they literally did to us. I mean, you couldn't get two contrasting first halves, really, when you think about it. They did to us what we did to them today, but we did it better because the press game is our game. Let's get into the goals. Konate at 9 minutes, brilliant goal, header, ball in from Andy Robinson, excellent. Sadio Mane poaches on the goalkeeper, what a howler. I don't know how Mane made up the ground, and I don't know how the keeper didn't see him coming. If you back look at the replay, it's like the keeper can see him in his eye line right from the 18-yard line, and yet Mane still gets there, whips the ball off and puts the ball in the net. Sadio Mane again on 45 minutes, absolutely brilliant as well, with a kind of a slice in, brilliant finish from him. Then Jack Grealish on 47, they came out of the blocks pretty quick, and we'll talk about that. Grealish poaching for a goal in the 47 minute. But then we kind of calmed it down a little bit and took control of the ball again to dampen it down and run the clock a bit. And then Bernardo Silva pops up in 90+1 with a goal to put a little bit of concern on the Liverpool fan base. But we rode out the last 4 or 5 minutes. And we also had a number of chances ourselves. I mean, Mo Salah had a great chance, the one that he just clipped onto the bar, kind of. In terms of bookings, Jesus picked up one early on 27. Fabinho on 37, Kate on 48, and Fernandinho on 57. But in truth, that booking could have really been a red card. That was a horrendous tackle. And he should have been booked earlier in the game for a couple of tackles as well. So he kind of got away with it. And then Mane with a a tackle shortly after on 61 gave the ref no choice but to book him after the Fernandinho booking. If you look back, let's look at the first half. The first half, I think we were outstanding. The press was unrelenting. City were second to every ball. It was probably the best half of football we've probably played, considering the opposition were such high level. But we made them look very ordinary. Thiago was pulling the strings. Shout out to Naby Keita. I mean, Naby Keita's had a run now of games where he's being fit, and we're really seeing the boy that we invested in when we bought him. He was all over the pitch today, winning balls everywhere, taking balls off City players, covering so much ground, nearly in every position. He was just absolutely outstanding today. And I know we'll get into the player ratings in a bit, but in terms of like the man of the match, I mean, it was a flip of a coin really between Mane, Naby Keita, and Thiago. Any of those three could have been man of the match. All three were outstanding today. And we haven't even spoke about Luis Diaz, and we'll talk about it in the ratings. But Thiago was pulling the strings in midfield. Fabinho so good, back to his best, mopping up. We know how bad himself and Hendo were last week. They were really disappointed in the performance. It was poor. But Fabinho back to his absolute sublime today, mopping up everything in front of the back four. Kanate and Van Dijk so dominant in the air and in control of the ball. Alisson absolutely clinical when called upon at any stage. Shown why he is the best keeper in the world without a shadow of a doubt. Second half, City out of the blocks real quick. Jack Grealish, of course, scoring with a quick goal, giving them hope. After some poor possession by Liverpool, Liverpool kind of got the ball back again, and then they started controlling the ball and moving it around and holding on to it a bit better, which kind of fed into the clock and stuff like that. And we were moving the ball side to side and back and forward. And, we just wanted to hold on to possession, just to dampen down any hope that was coming from that goal. Again, chances came from both teams. Alisson again showing why he's the best keeper in the world. And then Bernardo Silva pops up with that late goal. Of course, Mo Salah had a great chance to put it out of sight, but didn't take his chance. But Bernardo Silva pops up with that late goal in 90+1, giving us a bit of a reason for concern with 4 or 5 minutes ago. And of course, Sterling had that chance as well that Alisson smothered. But yeah, and it was like, Trent and Robbo, both excellent today. Trent shown his strength and stuff like that, even in defense, as well as, pinging balls around. Robbo also, I mean, having the rest and stuff like that, where he was good today as well. And some of those overlaps he was making with Diaz at times, it just wasn't shown the Robbo that we know. Just lacked a little bit today, but again, I'm only nitpicking. But yeah, the treble gone for City and the quad still on for Liverpool. This team is really beginning to make us dream. I've avoided talking about this quad as much as I can, because I know, you can talk about this quad and then we end up with a Carabao Cup or something like that. So I'm trying to hold my tongue on talking about this quad. But these boys are at it, and are really at it. And we're coming into a real business end of the season now, where we're in line for 4 trophies. And it is achievable. We can now park the FA Cup. We don't have to worry about it now. We're through to the final. We can sit back tomorrow and chill out. We can watch and see what Palace does with Chelsea. Will Chelsea get through? Or will the disappointment of midweek come back to haunt them with a Palace team that are resurgent at the moment under Patrick Vieira and playing some really nice football? Remains to be seen. But yeah, it's evolving into an unbelievable season at the moment for us Reds and that team. It's just that team, there's a maturity in that team at the moment, and it's just when you see that backline, Konate in there playing with Van Dijk and all, like he's been playing with him for 10 years. You see Luis Diaz. Let's talk about Luis Diaz for a minute. That first touch he has, taking balls out of the air and stuff like that, he's absolutely sublime, and he absolutely puts the fear of God in defenders. When he picks up the ball and he turns at them, they absolutely don't want any part of it, and it's amazing to watch it and to see it. But yeah, let's get into these player ratings, because I'm so stoked tonight about getting to the final. And I thought it was going to be a real tough day at the office. I didn't expect Pep to make that amount of changes, but here, thank you very much. We will take that. Let's get into the ratings then. Alisson, I gave an 8-2. Absolutely sublime. When called upon, never a problem. I don't think he could have done a whole lot for the 2 goals. He was unlucky with the second one. It kind of went through his legs, but he was down for it. Really, really unlucky, and it's unusual from Allison that would happen. But give him an 8. I thought overall, I mean, he's just coming out to collect balls and acting like that sweeper with the back four and stuff like that. Absolutely brilliant. Trent, I gave an 8 too as well. Thought Trent was brilliant today, both in his movement and his passing. And he wasn't as aggressive as going forward as he normally is. He was a more mature Trent Alexander-Arnold, where he understood his defensive duties a bit better this week, as well as his attacking and his movement of the ball and stuff like that. But he was absolutely brilliant today to a fault. Absolutely excellent. Konate and Van Dijk, I'm going to give them both an 8 each. I thought they were excellent. Konate took his goal lovely. Seems to have an eye for goal, this boy Konate, but he's an absolute. I can't imagine what defenders feel when they're marking him on set pieces. He's an absolute monster of a man. He just soars above everyone, and just it was a real weird. It was an interesting header. It was kind of nearly a header onto his shoulder, nearly lobbed in over the keeper and stuff like that. But hey, we'll take them. We're due that kind of look. Robbo, I gave a 7 to. I thought he was decent today. I thought at times when he went forward, he kind of left us a little bit exposed when he was working back. But it's only nitpicking. But I thought he was really, really good. Fabinho, I gave an 8 to. Absolutely sublime, back to his best. Totally different to the Fabinho from last Sunday. He was first to everything, getting stuck into everything, chasing everything down. It was like there was little mini presses all over the pitch with these guys. Keita getting stuck in, Thiago getting stuck in, Fabinho getting stuck in. Like, they never got a minute. We never gave City a minute in any stage on any position on the pitch, and it was fantastic to see when it's done right. Thiago, I gave a 9 to. I can't say enough about Thiago at the moment. When we keep these guys fit and they're playing and they're at the peak of their game, no one can live with him. The way he passes the ball through, even these little tight passes, little sort of shorter ones where he just finds that little bit of space, rarely gives the ball away. So strong at winning the ball back, strong at distributing the ball out. The amount of balls he put out today to Mo Salah was unbelievable. So Thiago 9. Keita, I'm going to give a 9 to. What can we say about Naby Keita? Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely bossed the game in the first half. He was everywhere on the pitch, taking everyone on. He's the smallest guy on the pitch, and he was absolutely brilliant. The strength of that boy was unbelievable, and we're now seeing the Naby Keita that we bought. It's fantastic to see, and I'm delighted for the kid. Absolutely brilliant. Salah, I gave a 7 to. A lot of hard work there today that he put in, a lot of running and a lot of chasing and stuff like that. Very unlucky with a couple of chances not to put them away. But he's knocking on the door, and he's eventually going to hit a team for 3 or 4. You can see that it's coming. He's just knocking on the door. He was unlucky with that chance where he went through. He should have probably hit it first time. But Ake came across and just towed it off him. He was unlucky with that. And then the other one where he tried to just put it over the keeper and it just landed on top of the net or just off the crossbar or whatever it was. So he could have had a couple of goals today. But Salah, he's just knocking on the door, but he's putting in the work rate. But we just need to see a little bit more final product maybe from him. Diaz, I gave a 9 to. Absolutely sublime today. His touch, the way he moved around those Man City players. At one stage in the midfield, he picked up the ball and just with 2 touches, he left 2 Man City players absolutely dead, and the third player couldn't get near him. Just so strong in possession. Absolutely, if I was defender and he turns at me, it's the fear of God. He just absolutely, you don't know what he's going to do. Absolutely incredible. The one thing I would say about Luis Diaz, don't be scared to be a little bit more greedy when you're on the edge of the box. Have a go. And especially today, that was one thing I noticed they didn't do. They should have had a go from a bit of distance as well on the 18-yard box when they had a couple of chances, because that keeper was ropey as hell. So they should have just let fly at times, you know what I mean? And I think Luis Diaz, he's such a team player. You can see it in him that he loves the players around him. He loves the environment he's in at the moment, but he loves it so much that he's trying to play Mane in, he's trying to play Salah in, he's trying to be that guy. Be greedy, kid. Have a go yourself. It's worth it. We know you have a heck of a shot on you, so bang it in there and don't be scared to do it. Maybe you might get a few goals on Tuesday, maybe if you're picked against United, who knows? Mane, I gave a 10 to, and I don't give out 10s lightly, but this guy was bouncing off every single player. He was trying to win every single ball back. So strong. The strength of Mane today in possession was unbelievable. And like I said earlier, I'm giving Mane the man of the match. But listen, there was potentially 11 men of the match out there. I mean, that first half was as good a first half of football against a top competitor as you're going to see. I thought Diaz was brilliant. I thought Keita was brilliant. I thought Thiago was brilliant. We could have given out a whole platter of man of the matches, but I gave it to Mane. He did get the 2 goals, and he was so strong. And even when he was dropping deep, it's amazing when you see him dropping deep now. It's so like Bobby, but the strength of him and the power of him, and it must be just an absolute nightmare trying to get the ball off him. But I gave Mane a 10. Absolutely brilliant. But this has been your semi-final FA Cup match reaction and player ratings. A very happy Reds fan here. So happy to see that's the team he put out. So happy to see that the gaffer had the courage to pick that team. You know, dropping our captain Jordan Henderson, putting Kate in there. The courage to do that, absolutely brilliant, and to be able to see it. We've been calling for it. And no disrespect to Jordan Henderson, absolutely our captain, fantastic, no doubt about it. But Naby Keita's time has come, Thiago's time has come, Fabinho's time has come. These players are just different gravy, and that's what we want to see. We will be dropping a match preview for the United game. I'll have Darren on and I'll have Mark on, and we'll do a preview for that. But it's been a pleasure bringing this match reaction and player ratings to you. Very excited about what's to come this season. We know it's still an uphill challenge. We know there's now 11 games, I think, left now. We did have 12, but we've 11 games now to complete a quad. Can this team do it? Can this team rewrite history? How excited should we be? Absolutely incredible what this team is doing. Rewriting history books every single week, all the time. Will it be a case where we will meet Chelsea again in the final? Do they owe us one for the Carabao Cup if we do meet them in the FA Cup final? Can Patrick Vieira pull out a masterclass with Crystal Palace tomorrow against Chelsea? Who knows what might happen? But so far, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant by the guys. Couldn't be any happier. I know I was a little bit down last week, and I know even midweek when I did the match reaction, I was a little bit down in terms of shipping goals. I'm not going to complain today about shipping goals. I thought this team was absolutely sublime. Until next time, Reds, it's been a pleasure. This is the Shankly Sessions. It has been your FA Cup semi-final match reaction. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the ratings. Let us know what you're thinking for the rest of the season. Are you starting to believe in this quad? What did you think of the gaffer and the lineup and the picks and everything that he did today? The whole thing was just sublime. Until next time, Reds, a pleasure.